Months later, around the holidays, a second strange thing happened, one that the whole family witnessed together. Their social media had been buzzing that week with a strange community post, something about a woman from Dallas, Texas, supposedly working some online scheme, the kind of viral nonsense that floats around every neighborhood group chat. It wasn't related to anything that came after, but Daniel remembered it only because of what happened later that same night. The doorbell rang. Daniel checked the camera on his phone, nothing on the porch. No one there. He didn't open the door. The family had plans anyway, they were heading out for the evening to a small gathering with friends. When they got back later that night, it happened again. The bell rang. His wife checked first, still nothing, no one on the porch, no car in the driveway, nothing on the doorbell app. They turned on the porch lights, then the floodlights at the side of the house, just to be sure. Nothing. It rang a third time, near 11:30 p.m. This time they turned on every outdoor light they had, every motion light, every porch lamp, and stood right by the window watching the front step in real time. The doorbell camera showed nothing. No flash of movement, no shape, no person walking up or away. Just an empty porch and a doorbell that kept ringing on its own. Daniel's wife, finally rattled, walked up to the door herself without opening it and pressed her hand flat against the frame, like she was checking if it was even real. Daniel uninstalled the doorbell app and reinstalled it, thinking maybe it was some kind of software glitch. The ringing stopped. For a while. But every so often, weeks apart, sometimes months, it would happen again. Same pattern. Bell rings, camera shows nothing, lights reveal nobody. They never found an explanation. No prankster, no malfunction that fully accounted for it, no answer that fully satisfied anyone in the house. To this day, Daniel doesn't know what stood on that roof, and he doesn't know who, or what, kept ringing that doorbell. He just knows that some houses hold on to things quietly for years, and once in a while, they let you see it. It was October 2017, and Daniel Carter was a few weeks away from graduating college. He'd grown up in the same house his whole life, a tall, slightly tired-looking colonial on the edge of a quiet Ohio suburb, the kind of place that had been in the family for 2 generations. His aunt and uncle had lived there too, before moving out, and over the years almost everyone in the family had a story about that house. Nothing dramatic. Just small, unexplainable things. His younger sister once swore she saw their father walking down the stairs, except their father was out of town that whole week. Their mother once described passing a strange woman standing near the hallway, gone the next second. His sister, separately, once saw someone who looked exactly like Daniel lying in his bed, only to find his room empty when she checked. The family joked about it more than they feared it. The house has company sometimes, his mother used to say. It's never bothered anyone. And for years, that had been true for Daniel, nothing had ever happened to him directly. Until that one night. It had been a long week. Daniel was restless, the kind of restless that comes right before a big life change, and he couldn't sleep. So he did what he always did when his mind wouldn't settle, he grabbed his phone, put in his earbuds, lit a cigarette, and climbed up to the flat part of the roof above the garage, where he liked to sit alone at night. The air was cool, almost too quiet. He had his music playing low, staring out at the dark shapes of the neighborhood, when the feeling hit him, that prickling sense that someone was watching him. He brushed it off at first. Late nights play tricks on the mind, especially when you're tired. He kept smoking, kept scrolling his phone, but the feeling didn't fade. If anything, it got heavier. He paused his music and looked around. Nothing. Just the water tower at the corner of the roof, the dark outline of the trees beyond the fence. He told himself it was nothing, maybe the music had him on edge, maybe he was just spooked from being alone up there. He turned his music back on and tried to relax. Then he felt it again. Stronger this time. Like eyes fixed directly on the back of his neck. He turned around, slowly at first, then a little faster than he meant to, half expecting to see a raccoon, a neighbor's cat, anything ordinary. Instead, near the edge of the roof, low to the ground, there was a small shape. Child-sized. Standing perfectly still. Daniel's first instinct was logic. A kid? At nearly 4 in the morning, on a roof? There were no children in the house. No cousins visiting, no neighbor's kid who could have wandered up there, and even if there were, no child would be standing silently on a rooftop in the middle of the night. He tried to make out a face, a feature, anything human about it. There was nothing. The shape was just black, not in shadow, but as if it were made of shadow, a darkness with no detail, no eyes, no expression. Just a small, still, watching outline. The hair on his arms stood up. Something primal in him said go inside, now. He didn't run, but he didn't waste time either. He stubbed out his cigarette, slipped through the window back into his room, and pulled the blanket up like he was 8 years old again. He told himself he'd imagined it. He told himself it a dozen different ways until he eventually fell asleep. The next afternoon, he mentioned it casually to a neighbor down the street, half joking, half hoping for a normal explanation. "Hey, did you guys have a kid over last night? Maybe out near the back roofs?" The neighbor looked at him strangely and said no. In fact, their whole family had been out of town for 2 days. The house had been locked the entire night. Daniel never saw the figure again after that. He stayed away from the roof for a long time, though eventually the routine crept back, cigarette and music and all, just with a little less peace of mind than before.